What if the reason relationships lose their spark has nothing to do with time and nothing to do with age, but the parts that you've been hiding, maybe in the realm of the sacred? Today, we're talking. Today, we're talking about sex, shadows, and what it really takes to have the sacred in your life and keep that juicy spark alive. This is going to be off the charts amazing because I have Nathalie Jackson in the house. She is a shadow worker like me. We've been trained in the same body of work, and she brings in a lot of other flavors. She is a very, very special person. Let's bring her on. Hello, Natalie. So good to have you here.
Hello, Junie. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. And one more thing I just wanted to say about Natalie is she's a transformational leader, mystic, and initiatrix. I love that word, specializing in the deeper work and embodied personal evolution. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you here, aside from the fact that we are trained in the same work and we have the same language, and I friggin' love you every time we're together doing shadow work together. I'm always blown away by your presence. This topic about the sacred, about how to keep life juicy, not just about partnerships, but our life alive. This is a big deal when it comes to women in midlife and starting over, because a lot of people think it like the light is going out when there's so much more here. So I'm really thrilled to be having this conversation with you today.
So am I. Thank you.
So, a lot of times people feel like passion dies over time, especially in relationships. And again, I want to tie it to this really important stage of life because it's not just about passion in the bedroom or passion in the kitchen while you're cooking, but like passion about living and just tapping into the vibrancy of life. So, I'd love for you to share a little bit about what you've learned about keeping that spark alive.
Yeah. Well, what I've learned the most about spark is that it is a way of being in the world. It isn't something that like comes and then just goes and it's outside of our control, the coming and the going of it. It's actually a choice that we make, and we make that choice every single day. When I think about spark, I think about the word eros. Eros is a word that I absolutely love. And and it really speaks to this like life force energy that moves through us. It's like it's inherent in our human nature to have life actually move through us. And it requires tending. I think that's a word that I really love in my life is how am I tending that spark and that eros and that passion. And so when I wake in the morning, I start with a tending practice. Like I listen to my inner world, right? And pay attention to anything that's moving in me that really wants some kindness and some gentleness. So it starts with the very first breath I take.
Wow. What I love so much about what you just said, intention, like where you're putting your energy, that there is a choice here. You could choose to wake up and do the same thing over and over. And I would assume if we do the same thing over and over, well, not assume, I know this to be true, we lose that spiciness. But you start with your first breath, and I'm hearing intention, practice, tending to the fire. Because as we know, if we don't feed the fire, it fizzles out. So when did you start to actually tap in to this tending? Is it something you just kind of like, I need to really bring this into my life, and you started to practice? What did it happen because of something that in your life? Did you notice the fire was going out? Tell us more about how this
Mm.
evolved for you.
Yeah, well, I've been in a 28-year monogamous relationship. And so if anyone listening to this has, kind of done something for a really long time, whether it be a relationship or a job or whatever that may be, there's ebbing and flowing. We get closer to it touching that place that really resonates in us, and then we kind of back away and it gets a little further, a little distant. I mean, in relationship, I joke with my husband that, we're kind of like roommates every once in a while. And then we have to come back into that place of tending what's really important to us. And so it was in one of those we're kind of like roommate phases that I really realized, wow, is this what I want? And if I don't want it, then what am I doing about it? It's no good to just wait for someone else to do something or for the universe to magically give it to me or for it to awaken in
Mm.
me by some spontaneous, combustion force inside. It had to actually come from me. And so I come back to the drawing board, and I've done this numerous times in my relationship, is let's come back to the drawing board. Let's rewrite this and start over even and create the kind of life or the kind of experience that we want to have together.
I think it's spot on. It's about how we're being and having awareness because we can just go into the loop of life and become the roommates. And for those of you that maybe you're just starting to date, maybe questioning dating, maybe even wondering what's the point because it's going to die out like the last relationship. There's something here about starting relationships and cultivating this connection and this awareness of what is here, but what I'm also like knowing, and this is what I practice daily, is how am I being? What's my inner landscape? How am I creating the story of my life? And then seeing how it might be affecting or even witnessing what's happening with my partner. We both have done a lot of work on ourselves and in relationship and we're relatively new. We're only about 2 years in. With that said, we're always talking about we need to stay awake. We both are very aware that we need to stay awake and that we have permission to poke each other if we go to sleep. Like there are just certain things like when we walk, we do a lot of walking. Like we have this thing where one of us will go and we stop and we kiss for a while wherever we are. There should be a cam on us everywhere, and like where's Waldo? It's like we're all over the friggin' planet kissing, but it started to get a little bit less often, because we're getting into patterns. And so how do we want to create our story? How do we want to live our life? And we are in the driver's seat when we see it, when we're awake. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yes, and one
Yeah.
thing I would add to that is creating our life and our story from a place of curiosity and
I love
wonder
that word.
about, who is this person I'm with today? And if I can let go of the boxes I may have put them in from yesterday even, or last week or 10 years ago or what have you, then I can just be in a place of wonder. What wondrous human do I get to walk life with today? And what newness is he trying to show me or are they trying to show me today that I couldn't see yesterday? There's real beauty that comes from that place of curiosity.
And when you were just sharing this, my whole body just relaxed. And so I'm going to invite everybody that's watching and listening to just have that land on you. The the curiosity, the that what is here for you right here, right now, whether it's a person in your life or whether it's just your life, like just your life, like it's your friggin' life, to drop into like what what's going on here? What am I seeing that those fresh eyes? Because I always think this is just kind of my disposition. The world is full of wonder. I've thought this since I was a kid, and it's just how I see things. It's like like I'm life is an adventure, and I do stop and smell the roses. It's just so beautiful, and yet we do get into these ruts of wake up, look at your phone, go to the bathroom, make the coffee, and we forget these precious moments of what's here today. How am I being? Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
yes, and, like,
really powerful.
so powerful, and interrupting some of those patterns, I would add as well. Like, what can I do today that interrupts something that was in a bit of a lull or in a bit of I'm just doing this unconsciously, like rote? And how can I do it spontaneously or bringing in some adventure or bringing in some juiciness? Like, what can I, maybe the same thing, maybe I'm making coffee only now I'm gonna do it in a slightly different way, or I'm brushing my teeth in a different way, or I'm getting dressed in, bringing a little bit more adventure or wonder or curiosity into what can so easily just become a pattern and
Mm,
like drag us into this existence that's low and uninspired, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, and I think this is a perfect place for us to actually shift into shadow. And so for those that don't know what we're talking about when we say shadow, because it's not necessarily the thing that's behind you from the light. Yes, that is a shadow, but something about us as human beings where we lose access to parts of who we are, or we can't see things about ourselves because there's a block or a blind spot in some way, and we limit ourselves and we cut off the opportunities. And here we are talking about being curious and changing things up and interrupting. And there might be a part of you, and certainly us, because we're human too, that has set it up exactly that way. Because when we're certain, when we know the landscape and we know what we do every day, there's a part of us that might go, oh, I know the territory. I feel safe. But that's going to get in the way of us having a rich, amazing life. So I'm going to invite you to take it away with this, Natalie, around with this topic of tapping into the sacred and tending the fire. What if somebody has resistance or they don't even see the resistance, AKA there's a shadow lurking in the room?
Recently I've been asked by quite a few people, Junie, the question is, do you do couples work or do you work in pairs? And the first thing I say to people is, if both people are willing to look at themselves, then yes. Sure, we can move forward as long as there's two willing partners or three willing partners or multiple willing partners, right? And so in the realm of shadow, it's about, how willing are you to take this experience that's happening outside of you and reflect it directly back inside of you and look for the mirror. Look for the thing maybe that you weren't willing to see about yourself. Maybe admit some truths and be radically honest about some aspect of self that maybe is even unresolved, that maybe you haven't healed yet from childhood. Let's go as far back as childhood when we're talking about this. And that's where most of our patterns stem from. And so, what I would offer to anyone listening here is if there's something that you're resistant to or that keeps showing up as a pattern in your life, then look for the piece that's yours, essentially. Look for what's
Yeah.
unresolved in you.
Yeah. You said a few things there that I'm thinking need to be highlighted, like being radically honest. It takes a lot of courage, in my opinion, to really look at your side of the street. And especially when it comes to relationships, it's just so easy to deflect. It's so easy to point a finger and go, well, he's like this. Of course I'm acting like this because he did this and he's that. And, all the stories. And it doesn't mean that he didn't have bad behavior. It didn't mean that he didn't drop the ball. It does give you an opportunity to go, and what's my part? What's tapping into me where I'm shutting down or lashing out? And I see a lot of people struggle with that place where they're stuck on the other and the circumstances are creating my drama, my pain versus,
Yeah.
oh, this is what's going on inside of me. I need to lean into and step into some uncomfortable realms in order to have the great, brilliant, spicy life I want. Because that's the piece. I mean, I really want to just drill this in here that when somebody wants to have this juicy, sacred, amazing life with or without a partner, that it starts here, not out there. What do you want to add to that?
It really does, and I think the piece I'll add as maybe kind of like a little bit of like a tool, like what happens when I keep hitting this resistance or I keep shutting down? I'm getting closer to someone, it's starting to be a little bit more intimate, and boom, my walls come up, my heart feels like it's closing. So, I mean, this is work that you and I know well, and so what I would offer to someone is those resistance mechanisms were, first of all, they were developed in early childhood and they're operating from a really old pattern. And so the ways maybe that you needed to keep yourself safe when you were 6 years old might likely not be relevant today at whatever age you are today. And so there's like this internal kind of like combustion and alchemy that takes place when we can update our entire system to the truth of today. Like, can I take a chance and take a risk here and maybe love here, even if I get hurt? Even if I get betrayed or let down, is it still worth taking the risk? This is where the alchemy takes place, I think, as we mature into our older years.
Yeah, and I know when I have shared similar to what you just shared, I know there's a part inside of the people I'm sharing with going, get betrayed, get hurt again. My heart, the last time it was just horrible. And, I just want to bring in here that you are older and wiser and you don't have to do it alone. It's people like us that can help that part of you that is protecting you, like that part protected you when you were a kid. It's still here, like Natalie just said, we're just updating it. You don't have to jump off the cliff and just go, okay, I'm just going to take a huge chance and get betrayed here. No, you could do it differently. You could befriend that part that's watching out for you so you can navigate this territory of your heart in a new way. The bottom line is it starts with what is it you really, really want? And that awareness of where things might be stale, where things might have gone sideways and you're not living that beautiful, vibrant, full flame life that you're desiring.
Absolutely. And it requires us to, challenge those edges of comfort. So if I'm
Yes.
staying in that place where I'm comfortable, well, eventually my world is just going to get so small. I'm not going to
Yeah.
go out. I'm not going to meet new people. I'm not going to put myself into situations where I get to use my voice or I get to be seen or whatever it is. And in that smallness, there's loneliness there, and it just ends up being us in our story. And so when we challenge that edge of comfort and take a chance, doesn't like you said, it doesn't mean you have to jump off the cliff to take a chance. It just
Yeah.
means taking a chance, maybe, taking a risk that's slightly beyond that edge of comfort. See what happens.
Yeah, yeah, see what happens. And I tend to say, no, I tend to say, this is what I say. I tend to say that you could stretch your comfort zone by taking these chances. You could stretch your comfort zone by learning new skills, by learning the new territory. The more tools you have and the more you're clear about what's working, what's not working, and you have support from shadow workers and other people that know this kind of work, you can take those steps in a more empowered way with choice, which is where you started. It's a choice to have a different life. It's a choice to rewrite your story or change your story. But you're going to keep doing your story over and over unless you turn a page and decide you want the next chapter. And this is what we're talking about. There are some blind spots, some hidden blind spots, and some really important safety mechanisms that are human. It's just they overshoot, and a lot of it's from our childhood.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so taking chances and stretching into I mean, I get that that can be really scary for people, right? Like, wow, I just don't, it's the unknown. I don't know what's on the other side of that. What if I take a chance here and it's something totally outside of my control?
Exactly. Uncomfortable, uncertainty, but if we stay in that tiny little comfort place, it's going to get boring. It's going to be sad in a lot of ways, lonely, all that. I'm going to switch gears here. And because I know this is a specialty of yours, how do masculine and feminine dynamics evolve in long term relationships or even in the beginning of a relationship? And how can couples work with that instead of it against it? Like there's different energies there. How do you work with it so you could continue to build this special connection and
Yeah,
and keep it and keep it?
and keep it and tend it, right? Like we've been saying.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I think the first thing I wanna say around that is masculine and feminine energies are, regardless of gender. It's not about gender at all. It has to do with, the masculine energy being that outward expression and the feminine energy being that receptive, what goes on internally, how I'm receiving and letting in and tending. That's where the tending comes in. And so, what I've really learned about the balance of those energies is first and foremost, they exist in each of us. And so that balance starts, and balance is a little bit of a misnomer. I'm really seeing how, people are kind of striving for balance when really there's like a dynamic tension that's always happening
Yeah,
in
it's a dance. It's a dance. People have gotten very black and white. I'm so in my masculine or I'm so in my feminine. It's like, whoa, breathe, breathe, breathe. There's
Exactly.
something very organic going on here.
There is, and we go through eras and seasons in our lives where
Yeah.
we require more masculine energy. Like I think of my son right now who's in university. He is all in his masculine. I'm going to go, I'm going to do, I have goals, and I'm going to set those goals and I'm going to achieve them, right? And then I think about the times when I had children and just after childbirth, I was all in my feminine. I'm just going to receive, I'm just going to be, I'm just going to tend right now and nurture this body that went through this, powerful and incredible experience, painful and all the things. And now it's time to nurture. And so that
Hmm.
dynamic tension of really recognizing when I spent maybe too much time in the masculine and it's time to nurture, or too much time in my feminine and it's time to act and take a step forward and make a change in my life. And I think as humans, if we can really be in that dance in our harmonious way, then when we come together with another, it also is a dance of giving and receiving, of doing and being, of even just that tension can be found in sexuality of like allowing one to step into the masculine and take charge and bring forth a really powerful and erotic experience, and the other to be able to receive it and to surrender and soften into and that can be either of us. We can
Yeah.
do that dance back and forth.
And when you were sharing that, I can't help but think about the shadow stuff again, which if we're in our head, especially in the bedroom, if we're in our head and, oh, I'm in, I'm being in my masculine as a woman. Oh, I'm being in my masculine right now. I'm being bad. I should be in my receiving. I should be in my like my more open energy. It's like that's the quickest way to lose connection with your partner. And who said good or bad? But that's what I'm seeing so often with partnerships, whether it's sexuality, whether it's that first date. Should I do this? Should I do that? Like it's like I don't want to be that person. And these are the flavors I think we all need to be really mindful of where did we get these beliefs? Where did we get these stories around should or shouldn't, good or bad? Because as soon as we go into that place, how I see it, we're missing the mark and we're not showing up authentically.
Yes. Yes, and what I would say to and add to that is when those beliefs show up of like, "Oh, this is bad," or "I shouldn't do this." The question I often ask people is, "Says who?" Like, who said that? And how can you now become mindful and aware that that should that you're doing to yourself right now is somebody else's voice that's been imprinted in you? Or maybe an organization or an institution or whatever, right? And so when we can clearly delineate, oh, wait a minute, this is what this organization says I should or shouldn't do. What do I really want to do right now? And how
Yeah.
can I be authentic and real and raw and alive in
Yes.
that essence of who I really am?
I think it's tricky times with social media, with AI. There's just so much information out there, as a love and relationship expert and my specialty is helping people starting over and prepare, be ready for dating. What I tend to get with a lot of my clients or prospective clients when I'm in conversation is, well, I learned this from this course about this is how to date. This is the strategy for dating. I'm supposed to be in my feminine and I'm supposed to let him respond and, all the friggin' rules about dating, what to do and what not to do. And so while it's wonderful, the access for information, it keeps us in our head and it doesn't allow us to drop into our body and go, this feels right. This feels good. Let me be here versus I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be doing this. What are they thinking? Are they judging me? Oh, they're judging me. Where did that come from? I mean, it's just, I'm just so grateful. I'm just going to like say it and celebrate it. I even just this morning, I was thinking, I cannot believe how far I've come because of shadow work. How far I've come where the noise in my head is just so quiet. Because it's still there a little bit, but my ability to just be in my life, and it takes again radical honesty to go, this isn't working for me and I'm not living my best life. I'm not able to dance in this sacred space the way I want to because I'm in the good, bad judgment place. It's tricky times. It really is.
It is, because with all of this exposure to communication, let's say, to the world outside of us, in some ways, not only is it informing us and maybe creating new imprints as we go along, it also kind of pulls us away from who we really, really are. And I find I look around and there's a lot of people that are lost right now. That don't know who they are, don't know what they love, don't know what turns them on even, or what, like, makes the juices start to flow inside. And that, from my own experience, is a process of undoing, silencing, right? Turning off all of that noise and that distraction. And, I often say to people, like, do you spend at least an hour a day in total silence? How many
Yeah.
people answer no to that is remarkable.
Yeah, and we're not talking about you just being silent. We're talking about silence, space, because you could say, well, I was quiet watching TV.
Sure.
But have you been quiet in nature?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to tap into your brilliant knowledge about sacred sexuality
Mm,
and juices flowing, because there are a lot of women listening right now, kind of going through menopause or postmenopause, which
yeah.
is more than not, kind of going, yeah, well, hello down there, you awake? And yeah, seriously, and maybe the fire has gone out because their libido went down. Maybe they haven't been partnered a long time and they have not been potentially tending to the fire. Uh, how might they tend that fire? How do they get back in touch with their pleasure, with their juiciness, and even navigating partners when maybe their fire feels like it ain't here no more?
Oh, wow, that was a series of really good questions.
Don't ask me to say them again because I just it will boop right out of my head. But I'm sure
Oh,
whatever you say will be perfect.
oh, I love that. Yes, tending the fire. The first thing that came to mind is, do you have a pleasure ritual for yourself? Like an actual practice. This has nothing to do with a partner or a potential partner. This is everything to do with me kind of like restructuring my brain to not only be seeking pleasure, but creating pleasure from within. And there's this amazing thing that happens in our brain, Junie, and I'm sure you know this, of like, if I'm seeking something, suddenly there's blinders that are on, and I start to kind of like erase other things that aren't pleasurable. And guess what? Life becomes more pleasurable. It's this really interesting cycle that we can actually tend and nurture within ourselves by actually going out into like starting my day looking for pleasure. I'm going to create pleasure today. And maybe it's just like putting my hand lotion on because it's so silky. I have one that has beeswax in it, and it just is divine on my hands. And as I'm touching my body, I'm like feeling that pleasure and
Mm,
remembering that this is my divine right. This is my birthright to feel and experience pleasure each and every day. And it starts right
yeah,
in here. It's not dependent on anything else, anything external. It can actually start right in my own home with my own little morning routine, you know? And so pleasure
yeah,
and sex aren't the same thing. And the more pleasure I experience in my life, the easier then it is for me to surrender into those moments where I see there's a spark between me and another. And I'm willing to just like grab that spark and do something with it or make it grow a little or tease it out a little bit, the little bit of like flirtatiousness and a sparkle in my own eye. But the sparkle comes from here. It comes from within.
yeah. Yeah, I call that pleasure research. And again, coming back to the word of curiosity, it's like what might be pleasurable, what might
Yeah.
feel good. As you're talking, one of my pleasures, it's short, but it's delicious. Whenever I take my shower in the morning and I do all the things that I'm doing. Before I leave the shower, I up the temperature because I love hot and
Mhm.
I turn my back to the water and I just feel the deliciousness of that heat, of that like almost too hot water, which I friggin' love. And I'm just like, oh, and it's like I put my hands on my heart when I do. I'm like being there right now. It's like put my hands on my heart. And to me, this is just like it's a moment or a few moments
Mhm.
of, yeah, I
Mhm.
can be still. I can enjoy. I can feel being here in my richness. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've lost ritual overall in our culture. Our cultures, because you're in Canada and I'm here, but
Mhm.
same thing. At
Mhm.
least I think so. Then again, these days, I don't know. But we're not going there. Um, but just the sacred moments, the sacred pauses, the sacred ahas, the sacred how do I want to be today, but the rituals like water or breathing or connecting or doing something with a partner, it's a lot of it's been lost.
It has been. It has been. And there might be some, who are listening to this really kind of curious and confused as to what a sacred ritual might be. And so what
Great.
I'll offer around that is it can be as simple as, we have elements like you mentioned water already. Fire is another one. Lighting a candle and just having this moment of wonder. What is this flame wanting to teach me right now? Is there something
Mm,
here? Is there something in the mystery of fire that I don't know about that maybe it can show me? So, fire is
mm,
another beautiful element that can bring us into the present. And it can also really be igniting. Like when you think of our own inner fire and our own inner flame, and I look at a candle, I'm like, where's that fire in me? Where does it live? Can I feel it? And if I close my eyes, can I breathe air onto it to make it bigger? Can I actually ignite it inside of me so there's passion and there's aliveness that I've cultivated within myself? Well, fire can be a great teacher for that.
yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking about everything we've just talked about around keeping things alive and creating our new chapter and the sparks and everything. And I'm just kind of zooming into the person that's listening about, well, what if I'm just starting over and I'm feeling disconnected from my body? I actually don't know like pleasure. I feel shut down and I really do want to find a partner. How might you guide that person as maybe some mindset tools or some first steps in ritual? I mean, I hear the pleasure research, but a lot of times people think, well, I'm not ready, so I won't go do it at all. They're very black and white. And, we know that that's a lot of shadow as well. But if somebody wants both, yes, and yes, I'm shut down. And yes, I really want to start opening up my heart to meet somebody and connect in a way. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the thing that comes to mind is, creating like a wish list, like describing this partner that you're looking for, right? And I'm gonna write down to the details, like blue eyes, really fit, some nice biceps, right? Super sweet personality, nice tight butt, right? Like I'm gonna write all
Bring on the biceps. My guy has great biceps. I love his biceps. And a
so
great
does
butt.
my okay.
But I didn't even ask for that. That was like bonus, bonus.
Amazing, amazing. And then I start getting into the characteristics, right? I'm gonna love his sweetness or the way that he can kind of take charge and like, decide where we're going to dinner or whatever it is. Just like write down characteristics of this person. And then pick a few of those to start to build within yourself, to like grow within yourself. And it might mean
Mm,
learning a new skill, maybe taking a class on communication or seduction or, whatever it is that you want in this other. Start to really develop that within yourself, because then you become more of a vibrational match for someone who also has that within themselves, right? If I can't touch that in me, that it's really difficult for my vibration to bring that closer to me.
yeah. Yeah. And that's why I always say, when people come to me and they say, help me with the dating and my profile and my pictures, I say, I can and I will. And we gotta get you ready, and it's that piece. It's that inner readiness. It's that, are you being that which you would like to attract? Are you vibing in a way that you're gonna attract somebody that you really wanna be with? Because if you're in that shutdown or neediness or emptiness or anything that doesn't feel full-ish, and I'm gonna say ish because there's no perfection, but having a life that's really rich, then who are you going to attract? And it's not to say that it's bad. You'll attract somebody that maybe isn't where you want to be at the end of the road. You can grow together. With that said, like Natalie said, the more you are tapping into that within yourself, you are expanding what's possible in partnership because you're going to call it in. It's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes.
It is. And there's this, I have seen this phenomenon happen so many times, Junie, of like someone is looking and wanting and yearning for that partner to show up, show up, show up, and then they go through some internal change and get to the point where like, oh, it doesn't matter right now. I'm totally content in the me of the me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
suddenly somebody shows up in their lives.
Absolutely.
I've seen that
Absolutely.
happen countless times of, like, when I let go of the yearning for it, it arrives into my
Yeah, I mean, that's straight out the law of attraction. It's like when you're or quantum or whatever you wanna call it, it's like when you're fully being it, you can match it, it can come, and you don't have to look for it, and if you're looking for it, that means you're not there. If you're
experience.
looking and yearning for something, then you're not feeling that fullness as if it was here, and granted, if they're not here, if the person's not here, you might be going, "Well, how do I feel it if this person's not here?" But I offer to, when you have that full, rich love for yourself, love for your life, it's as if they are there, which then
It
brings them to you. It's
it's
kind
a
of fun.
dichotomy. It's kind of funny.
The universe is interesting for sure.
Uh,
So I
Thank
know you have a special ebook that is free and a gift to our listeners and watchers. What you got?
Yeah, blossom into your sacred wild self. So I've kind of put some of these rituals and these practices around pleasure, and I threw in a few little bits in there, Junie, to like look at the shadows, like what might actually be in the way of Eros freely moving through you as life itself.
Mm,
And so I love sharing
beautiful.
that with people. Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. We will put the link in the show notes. And if you were listening to the commercial, you heard that Natalie has a very powerful, amazing book out. What was the name of the book again?
All the light and dark things.
All the light and dark things. So be sure to grab her ebook and check out her book as well. There's a lot of goodies in the show notes. All right. This has been such a treat for me. This has been such a treat. Thank you for sharing your beautiful heart and wisdom around the sacred and what's possible when you have intention and you choose to live vibrantly.
It was such a pleasure and a joy. Thank you, Junie, from the bottom of my heart.
Mm, that's our episode for today. If you enjoyed it, if you got a little spark inside of you, if something moved you, I invite you to like it and share it with some of your friends and even subscribe to the channel if you haven't and continue to ask, what's here? What's here right now? Add some rituals in. And if there's one thing, just one step to do, maybe it's to find that breath of yours, just one breath to just come home in this moment because there's nothing else other than this moment and you can build on that. So blessings, blessings to you and we're out. Mwah. One more thing before you go. Have you taken my Discover Your Love Avatar quiz? It's a 2-minute quiz that can help you not only know your strengths, your superpower because you have one, also identify some of your blind spots, some of the things that might be having you in your fear, having you behaving in ways that aren't in alignment with your highest self, the way you want to be when it comes to dating and relationships. And it'll also help you discover why maybe the stars haven't lined up for you yet. Bottom line is, you take this 2-minute quiz, you get a full report in your email with details on how to move forward in next level love, whether you want a partner or not. So you can go to midlifeloveoutloud.com/love quiz. The link is in the show notes as well. And if you haven't liked and subscribed to the station, I'm going to encourage you to do that too, so you don't miss any episodes. And I hope you got a ton out of today's. See you next week. Mwah.